Great, good afternoon everyone. Yes, thank you. I'm here from Canon today to tell you a little bit about Canon's journey on sustainability, inspiring a world of change, which is how we kind of articulate our sustainability brand purpose, and go into a little bit of detail as well about some of the focus areas that we look at when we're talking about our sustainability program. So I'm just going to start with a short video, hoping this works. Try again.
From oceans and seas to starry skies, our world is changing, and so are we. We are researching and innovating, collaborating and empowering, and we are doing it for the future of the planet, the future of the people, and the future of what's possible. We are inspiring a world of change.
Fantastic. Okay. I thought I'd start with just giving you a little bit of background about Canon and who we are. I actually joined Canon about 15 months ago, and I was quite surprised at the breadth of what Canon does. Most of you may know Canon as you might have a Canon camera or maybe a Canon printer at home, but we're actually far more than that. Canon started in 1937, fairly humble beginnings. A small business was set up in Japan called the Precision Optical Instruments Laboratory, and they launched what's called the Canon camera, which was the prototype in the end for the first 35mm, if I get this right, focal plane shutter camera. That then became the Hansa Canon camera, which was under the newly formed Canon brand, and that marked a huge milestone in camera history. Obviously, things have moved on a lot today. Our expertise in optical technology, with our spirit and passion for innovation, has helped us break into lots of new fields. Obviously, as I mentioned, we now do printing. That's everything from your small home printers, all the way through the printers you might have in your office, through large format and commercial print. Optical, all the various cameras you know, other optical technology as well. We have a medical business as well, MRI scanners, CT scanners. We even make the machines that make semiconductors as well. So a huge breadth of our business. A few facts and figures about Canon as well. Again, if you didn't know, possibly much bigger than you think. About just over 180,000 employees worldwide, around 26 billion euros in turnover, in nearly 27 in 2021. And just as an indication of what a technologically focused business we are, Canon does measure its performance on how many patents it's applied for, and that's a key measure for us. So over 3,000 were granted in 2021, so always striving to move forward in technology. Still, on to sustainability. Our corporate philosophy is Kiyosei. I know some people might be cynical about corporate philosophies, perhaps I was as well, but actually in Canon, I've realised it really does mean something. Kiyosei means living and working together for the common good, and it wasn't something we adopted 5 years ago just for our sustainability purposes. It's been around for decades. That influences the way we treat our employees, we treat our business relationships, and it also conveniently lies at the heart of what we do on sustainability, and I think articulates it beautifully as well. Our approach to sustainability, I suppose fairly traditional, and many of you will be familiar with this. It's a kind of ESG approach. It's about reducing our environmental impact. It's about increasing our positive social impact, but also whilst ensuring we maintain our product ethics and compliance obligations, which are obviously very important for a technology company as well, with a global manufacturing base. In terms of environment, I said it's about reducing environmental impacts of production, whether that's reducing our carbon emissions, being more circular. On the social side, it's about making sure we support imaging as a storytelling opportunity, I suppose, and support diversity, but on product ethics and compliance as well. And we report through the UN Global Compact and also through the Responsible Business Alliance as well. And there are ways to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable for making sure that everything that we sell meets those high requirements. Just to talk about reducing environmental impact though. We know that the way we operate and manufacture our products has a key impact on the environment. So we've drilled that down into two key focus areas. One is around circular business and circularity. Obviously, as a manufacturer, that is probably the biggest area where we can have an impact on what we do. And of course, also reducing CO2 emissions as well. For circularity, we need to make sure that everything we do is designed, created, reused, repaired, and which finally goes through a closed-loop recycling process. And that's where we would love to get to for our entire product portfolio. But also, reducing CO2 emissions, that's about renewable energy, it's about more efficient logistics, all the way in which we get our product to our customers and for when it's in use and end of life as well. Canon has a global target. It's a global CO2 reduction target. It's measured per product, and that is to achieve a 50% reduction in product CO2 levels by 2030, based on our 2008 levels. So, just a couple of examples here. It's always good to bring it to life a bit. I'm not a photographer, by the way, so I apologise to anyone that is an expert. But a really nice comparison here is our new RF 800 lenses and RF 600 lenses, which replaced the previous EF series. They are apparently the world's lightest weight super telephoto single focal length lens for their focal length. So basically significant weight reduction. It's about actually 70% lighter than the previous model. So obviously the photographers are happy. They're carrying around something a lot lighter, less bulky. But obviously all the way from manufacturing, it's less materials. When it gets transported, it means we can be more efficient, it's less packaging, and also less material at its end of life as well. The other example there is one of our Pro 300 inkjet printers. Again, something like about a 15% reduction in volume and nearly a 30% reduction in weight as well. All of this is about reducing weight, reducing materials. So obviously it's not just about making our products smaller and lighter. Just to focus in a little bit more about our circular business approach, though, it's about that end of life as well. So what is remanufacturing for us, for the Canon? That's the shell of a device you might recognise from one of your offices, just a typical multifunction printer that does your printing and scanning and copying. We collect used devices, so we do that from across our market. We break them down into parts. Those are washed and cleaned. We replace any parts that are worn out, show wear or deterioration. And so, we reset the counters, we update the software, so that effectively when that device is shipped to a customer, it is an as-new device. Obviously, they're aware it's a remanufactured device, but it is guaranteed to offer the same level of quality. But we also do repair as well. Obviously, B2B, we have service engineers that carry out thousands of repairs every year, but also on the consumer side of our business as well. And just in our region, on our consumer products, mainly cameras, I think we carried out approximately 80,000 repairs this year. So for us, that's all about keeping our products in use for longer, making sure that keep our customers happy, that they understand that they've got a quality, long-lasting product that will last for a good long lifetime. So we've actually got 5 recycling sites globally, but 2 within the EMEA region, which I look after. One in Canon Gießen, which is in Germany, and that does our machine remanufacturing. But we also have a site in Britannia, in France, in Brittany, and that does all of our laser toner cartridge recycling as well. It also does manufacturing from new. I think the figure since 2008, we've taken about over 40,000 tonnes of plastics kind of out of, or have collected that kind of volume. Something like 3.5 times the weight of the Eiffel Tower, apparently. But yeah, what this is, and this again talks about what we call our EQ80 device, and it's all about keeping the devices in use for longer. Perhaps a typical device that may last 4 or 5 years out in the field with a customer. We're taking those devices and giving them that new life again. So whole new life for the new customer, and only when it is completely at the end of its period will it go for end of life. And at that point, then it will get properly recycled, all the parts reused back in the manufacturing process as best we can. And obviously, the EQ80, you may wonder what the 80 means. That's approximately, and we get as high as 90 up to 80-90% of the material is actually reused in the printer. So we are saving in the manufacturing part of the process. We're obviously reducing that amount of raw materials that's being used. One bit that might be close to people is cartridge recycling. You may see them in the office, boxes of cartridges that you have stacked up in the store cupboard, or that you have at home with your inkjet cartridges as well. For toner cartridges, as I said, we have our main site in France, and we do that. Is effectively it's a fully closed-loop recycling process. So for all the cartridges we collect, and they get sorted, they go to Canon Britannia, and they go a comprehensive recycling process that recovers used parts and recycles parts that are unsuitable to be reused in the production process. It was launched in 1990. It was actually the first program of its type in the industry. We also do inkjet cartridge recycling as well. So if you buy a Canon inkjet cartridge, you can print a label off, or you can, at point of sale, often we include a return envelope. Those cartridges all get collected and go through full recycling process as well. And all the materials stripped and broken down get reused either into new cartridges, or they get sold onto other industries to get used as raw materials for other products as well. So yeah, something over 440,000 tonnes of cartridges has been collected since that's been in place as well, which is fantastic. That's a quick summary really of some of our environmental focus. So what I'm really passionate about though, which is fantastic, is about our social programs as well. Most corporate businesses, and Canon is one of them, I said as part of that ESG agenda, we're always looking for what we can do socially. We do, and I'll talk a little bit about it, the normal kind of employee volunteering, kind of local initiatives as well. But we felt that actually we could use the power of imaging of our products to actually really help empower young people, empower them as storytellers, and also in some cases give them a future, or kind of the first steps on a future career as well. So we're working with charities, we're working with the UN Development Program in collaboration, the UN SDG Action Team as well, we work very closely with on some of these programs. And I'll just go on to the next slide. And through that we formed what we call the Canon Young People Program. Some nice images there of some of the activities going on there. But yeah, I think everyone understands the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. We very much focus on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. That gives us the collaboration with the SDG Action Team, and it provides a really nice way of focusing those workshops with the young people on the issues that matter to them. And we don't narrow it down for them. We don't say you've got to talk about environment or conservation. It's very much about the social issues that affect them. And I'll show a map in a minute of where we've held workshops, but it's everywhere from Sellafield in the UK to DRC, Congo in Africa, to Libya, to Saudi Arabia. So every country in which you operate has got its own unique issues for young people, and we very much don't filter what they do. This is a particularly cool one though. This is Wild Shots Outreach, which is in South Africa and Kenya. This is amazing. It's actually very close to the Kruger National Park, but Kruger National Park is actually full of wealthy Westerners all going on their tours and safaris. The young people that live there and live locally very rarely actually get the opportunity to go and see some of the amazing animals that live there, and actually having any involvement in that. So it's a big gap there in terms of education and awareness. So we have run, with Wild Shots Outreach, we've run a number of programs. The participants have a chance to go on the equivalent of a big game drive, but obviously with cameras this time around, and take some amazing images. A young man we were extremely proud of, in the middle there, is Neville Gamani, apologies Neville if I've mispronounced your name. We actually took Neville to Expo Dubai earlier in the year, last year, as part of our partnership with Expo, to talk about some of the work he did. Neville started on a young people's program doing photography. He now continues to work with the program. He actually won a Young Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition for the most amazing image of a rhino being dehorned to avoid it being poached. And he stood up on stage at a world global event as well. So a really nice example of how a young person has gone through our program, and that's really helped inspire them for the future. We also, though, we don't stop there. We have our Malaysia Program as well. Now, this runs in Africa, and this is about giving slightly older group of people, but the skills that they need to actually develop a career in imaging and photography. This is, since it's launched, I think we've run it in 10 countries. We've had over 6,500 participants, and I think it's about 19 of them are now Canon trainers themselves and work for Canon directly. So again, a great initiative that actually helps develop skills in the region. I've got a nice little map here showing green is our young people's program, all the countries where we've operated programs for that, and all the other colours as well are, or the yellow ones for Malaysia as well, or both. So yeah, we're really proud of that. We get some really good reach on that, and it's just a fantastic way as well for our business to get involved as well. And there, we donate cameras, we donate new cameras. Sometimes it's B stock that comes back from customers, and we're able to get those out to young people, sometimes in some quite far-flung places as well, so that they can participate in these amazing programs. A little bit here about supporting local communities. Couple of nice ones. As I said, across the whole EMEA region, we have national sales offices in most countries, and they all have their own fantastic initiatives. A couple of highlights here. One in the Czech Republic, where they donate some of the older printers that come back from businesses to non-profit organisations, and that was an example there. A really nice one here, this was in Belgium as well, following the floods in 2021, where we did a community project to help scan and restore people's precious memories through photos. Often they'd been damaged by floodwater, so we were able to help them do that as well. So that's just a quick snapshot really of Canon, very quick. As I said, we are absolutely passionate about sustainability. It really is part of the way we operate and the way we think. We know we're on a journey, we've got some way to go, but yeah, we really see that imaging as well can be part of a great sustainable future. So there's some more information here, which on the slides. If you want to find out more, please visit the website or contact me via LinkedIn. But we also have our View, on our website. You can get to our View articles, which is a kind of external magazine as well, where we do publish quite often on sustainability as well.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Now, you know the format now. Anyone have any questions, you throw a hand up and we can bring a mic to you. I do have some questions that have come in on the app as well. So, Peter, let me just have a quick look through these. Okay, so what are your plans in the next 10 years to grow your work around social and environmental issues at Canon?
Great. Well, actually, we went through an exercise last year, actually, Scott. It was internal, but looking at where did we want to be by 2030? I know that's only 7 or 8 years now, but we kind of asked the question of ourselves, where would we like to be as a business by 2030? And that really helped set some of our strategic priorities. So we know we need to keep pushing forward in some of these key environmental areas. The importance of net zero. Obviously, through our products, we can support our customers to be more sustainable, and to be fair, our customers are demanding more and more of us as well, and we only see that increasing. So we need to focus on our product technology. On the remanufacturing side, we've got a fairly small range of devices at the moment. Of products, we want to increase that. So we've got plans around that. We need to drive out, like everyone else, things like single-use plastic, anything else where we can have an environmental impact and really move forward in that circular economy approach. But then also, on the social side as well, I said that's a real positive for us as a business, and it's supported from the top down, and we really want to kind of do more and more on the social side, and we recognise the importance of that for us as a business, also again for our customers who are asking us more and more what we're doing. So really it's more of the same, more and better.
More and better.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to the circular economy as well, what do you think is the biggest opportunity that presents to Canon and other manufacturers, of course?
I think they're the obvious ones that I talked about. If you've achieved that kind of full closed loop, across the whole product life cycle, you're not only reducing materials and emissions, you're actually creating a whole model that really does support sustainability. What's interesting is, again, for us as we sell product, is the demand from the market, especially in our southern European markets. Remanufactured devices, for instance, in the public sector in Spain, are almost the default. So there's huge opportunity there commercially. As I said, we need to meet our customers' demands and increase the portfolio of products that have a kind of circular economy aspect to them. But it's about keeping stuff in life for longer. It's about changing our business models, changing our sales models. Again, in some of our Nordic countries, we're now offering what we call print as a service as well. So that's about offering an outcome-based service rather than just saying, we're just going to flog you a big printer that can sit there in the corner of the office, and after 3 years we give you a new one. It's about, we will provide you with the number of printed out, or the amount of printed output that you need. But how we do that for you is up to us, and we can then maintain the control of the asset and keep it in life for longer. So huge opportunities there, and it aligns perfectly, obviously, with the greater drive on sustainability. Okay,
now, and your remit covers the EMEA region, and you mentioned Spain there, for instance. Very briefly, which countries are doing particularly well when it comes to the circular economy, and which countries need to do more? Maybe just pick one or two of each.
Certainly Spain is huge on the circular economy. It's a nice challenge for us because every little region and administration in Spain seems to be able to set its own regulations on circular economy as well. So that gives us plenty of challenges keeping up with that. Certainly in the southern Europe, it's big. France is also making big strides as well through some of the decrees that they've released over the past couple of years. And it's not just saying under the ban of circular economy, France is going very hard on plastic use and use of recycled plastic and how we recycle it as well. Areas not doing so well. It's hard to say really, because I said across our region we have a spread of economic development as well as maturity and sustainability. So you can understand that a business in Africa they might have local recycling, but they're not so focused on circular economy as a principle because they've got more pressing things such as lack of water or power. So I think it's hard to, I won't name any kind of laggards.
Okay, fair enough.
I said certainly we're seeing France, and UK as well, but as often comes, it's our customers that are pushing us as much as the regulations.
Okay, just give a final opportunity for any questions from the floor. Oh yes, sorry, just state your name and where you're from, please.
Hi, I'm Rudy Welsh. I'm from the Carbon Trust. It's a consultancy. I have a question about your target. So it's 50% reduction by 2030 from 2008.
Yep.
I was wondering if you can give a bit more detail into maybe the progress to date, and then what the next hurdle is going to be into achieving that.
Yeah. So progress, we are bang on target for it globally. I said it's a global target, covers all of our operations. We actually averaged, I think it's about 2.8% reduction per year in meeting that. So yes, we are on target to meet that. The challenge, I suppose the challenge beyond that is to continue driving that down and how that then aligns with net zero. Canon globally has set at the moment, a 2050 target. That may be we don't know at the moment whether that may be accelerated over time, but obviously we need to make sure the two fit together. I guess, the overall challenge, like any business, is the law of diminishing returns, and how do we continue at a product level. We can keep reducing the energy right down, and as I said, a typical big office device now uses a fraction of the energy it did before, but it will never get to zero. So the challenge is how do we get to those bigger challenges, I suppose, that are still a reasonable, what has to be a reasonable cost and business case for the business, in order to keep making a commercially viable product as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. Peter.
Thank you.